Hello, everybody. Just in time, Joseph. I saw your camera go off, and then
Yeah, you got my daughter calling me from upstairs asking me a question. Do you have conversations in your head? Does everybody have conversations in their head?
Totally.
Of course. Had to answer that real
yes.
quick.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
It's going
Great. And
well.
yourself, Marisol?
Hey. Super
It's
excited
going well
about
today.
today. All
I
right.
managed
Who
to
wants
get
to
away.
start?
I managed to get away from for this particular live from my puppy.
How's the pup doing?
Very active.
Yeah, that's gonna be for a while, for a few years. All right. Who's starting? What's going on with everybody?
We didn't actually discuss this who's starting Alvaro. Mac, I know, has been out of it, so
I can jump in. Yeah, no problem. Or
jump in, Mac.
Mac, if you want to.
Jump.
That
Either one, jump in.
I'll
Okay.
I'll follow after yourself, Alvaro.
All right. So that sounds good. So we have 3 announcements for this session. But before I get into that, I just want to welcome everybody to the first episode of 2023. Woo!
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Yeah. I
Happy
mean,
New Year.
the new year is always an opportunity to reflect back and think about, the things that you want to do, and not just look forward into the future, and not just look back at the past with some gratitude, and it's an opportunity to kind of reframe the things that have been happening in our lives and make it a more positive memory, a set of memories for ourselves. But it's also, I think it's always a great time to be present and be thankful for where we're at and the opportunity that we have every day to just live and create change, whether that's outside of ourselves or within ourselves. It all starts inside. So I just wanted to say that that's the kind of things that I think about. Luckily, Joseph mentioned a question that he got about voices in our heads. Yeah, and I could go into the statistics about what percentage of the thoughts typically are bad versus or helpful versus not helpful for those moments. But the reality is that we all have the ability to move into those more helpful thoughts, or at least a higher percentage of them, right? A higher ratio of them. And yeah, gratitude is one of those ways that you trigger well, at least it works for me, and a lot of other people say that. Just waking up and being thankful and grateful for the opportunity to change things in our lives if we want things to be better or different, and then just kind of appreciate what we have and think about the people that maybe they're not in our lives anymore, but they were for a long time, and those types of things matter. So Happy New Year. And so the 3 announcements for this session, announcing the new addition to our team is number 1. As you may have noticed, the layout of the tiles here is a little bit different than usual. And then secondly, we're going to announce the launch of a mini series. We'll get into that later. And then the third point is what you can expect from us leading up to these sessions as of this year. I think I'll let somebody get into number 1, and then we'll talk about those other items. My brain for a second really wanted to jump into the other ones, and I said, no. We wrote them in an order for a reason, so we'll do that. Yeah, ready for it. So I will start it off. the newest addition to our team is Marisol Gastelum. And welcome, Marisol.
Woo! I'm super
Yeah.
excited to be here. Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm super excited to see what we can do with RockstarX and bringing on a lady to the team. So,
Yes.
I'm going to be giving them elbow drops and just kidding. But yeah, I'm super excited and thankful to be able to be a part of Rockstar X and just to see it grow and see what we can do and make some changes. And, I have a personal stake at this because I'm neurodivergent. So, these are things that I wish I knew, or resources I wish were available to me, or connections that I wish were available to me in the past. So I'm very thankful that we're able to create this platform and this opportunity for other individuals like me, or like Joel, or anybody else who feels like they fall into that neurodivergent spectrum. So thanks, guys, for letting me be a part of it.
Awesome. Yeah, after the success we had with our last live stream, the conversations that we had as a team with you being involved, it was really obvious that there was alignment in the passion and, like you said, in the mission too. So let's give a big round of applause to Marisol. Awesome.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Marisol, before we jump into item number 2, I mean, I think your energy is really obvious in terms of the type of energy that you try to bring. But would you be able to? You've had the opportunity to now see Rockstar from like the audience perspective, and then also now you're being on the team and seeing the behind the scenes. Can you talk a little bit about? You mentioned the word change. What are the opportunities that you see in terms of the platform, for example, of from the audience's perspective?
Yeah, definitely want to get more of our audience involved. So we want to hear from, our followers and just anybody who's viewing. We want to talk about stuff, right? We want to hear, we're not just going to say, you need this and you need that, and we need to fix this and we need to fix that. Tell us, talk to us, because I know my neurodivergent people, some of us are oversharers, right? So come on and share some stuff with me. But if, in all seriousness, we want to get your guys' involvement. We want to get as many people involved in, challenging us and asking questions and sharing stories. I want to hear your guys' stories because personally, I'm sure a lot of people feel like this, but we think we're alone, right? We think we're alone in all of this, and we're kind of hiding our struggles. And that's something that Rockstar X is very big on doing, is like, don't hide who you are, like embrace it, celebrate it. You are different, right? We are different. And that's beautiful in its own thing, right? So now we're going to face on not only celebrating these wonderful, great, differences that we all have, but we're also going to try to tackle and see, not try, but we will, because, we're not going to try things, we're going to do things, right?
Yeah.
But we want to see how we can support our community, right? With whether that be in creative outlets or within the workforce, and how we can challenge not only companies, but, even people around us and ourselves, on how we can view and support people, with different neurodivergent backgrounds. And even, a lot of neurotypical people can also learn a lot. And I want to hear their experiences too, right? I want to hear what a neurotypical person experience with me is, right? Or somebody like me, or somebody like Joel, or something like that. So, I know it can be a lot sometimes, and that's great, but, I would love to hear from everybody, just to, I don't know. I just like humans, and I'm just fascinated by people's stories. So
Well, that's amazing. Thank you, Marisol. So now I will pass it off to Mac for item number 2, which is announcing the launch of this mini series. And I guess I'll prompt it by saying the mini series. The reason we're calling it a mini series is because it's going to be within the structure of these monthly lives. So these topics or everything that Mac is going to be talking about, it's, if the webinar is an hour, then it'll be part of that hour. Just want to give a little background on that. So Mac, take it away. Oh, your mic. There it is.
I was just looking at that, seeing the big red on. Useful anyway. Well, on the mute, I'm not so sure once I've unmuted, but I'm really excited to be part of an incredible team that have done some crazy work in the background. I know I've been like a roller coaster over the last year with health and everything else. So these guys are just incredible support team, and the vision of where everybody's going is exciting. So firstly, I wanted to welcome Marisol to the group. And the team. I'm so excited. We have, firstly, as you said, a female brain in here, and then somebody who is a neurodivergent, which Joel and I, when we right at the beginning when we were speaking about this, it was there are so many foundations run by neurotypical people, so you're getting secondhand information, and it's like I love what you just said there, Marisol, about you'd like to know feedback about how people think about you and how they engage with you, and vice versa. And I think that's really exciting to see where we are going. So I'm going to go through these different sessions. So basically, as of February, we're going to go through 5 episodes, which will run through February through to June. And before I dive heavily into the discussion and create more inclusive workspace for neurodiverse individuals, let's take a moment just to define what neurodiversity is. So neurodiversity refers to the natural variations in the way the brain functions and the processes informations. So this includes conditions such as ADHD, dyslexia, autistic spectrum disorder. I'm dyslexic as an example. I have a daughter that's ADHD. I have my brother-in-law who's autistic and Fragile X. So I'm deep inside and learning as I go. Big mistakes I think a lot of people make is they hear one word, there's somebody who's autistic, and the reality is it's a wide spectrum. So at the end of the day, that's why I love what Marisol said about getting that feedback, speaking to and one of the things that Joel said to me right at the beginning was I said, like, what do you suggest is the best way for people to kind of approach you? He goes, come and ask me, don't ask somebody else about me. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of simple really. So just those basics. Now that you're thinking about it, it all sounds super serious and dull, but as it said, is fear not. We have jam-packed schedule, fun, informative sessions planned for the next 5 months. Now, for me, that's I have I'm told ADHD tendencies. So I have what a lot of people call, or a friend of mine specifically put down as butterfly mentality. So I'm over here working, and then I'm over here working, and then I'm back over here. So to have things planned for 5 months, that's why it's so important to have a team around you. Guys, this is really great news. So our first session next month will be all about the importance of understanding and valuing neurodiversity in the workplace. And ironically, Joel and I have already been talking about this on so many different platforms. Joel, as some of you may have known, has been featured on Forbes recently because of some more information about where he's at and what he wants to do. And we talk about the benefits of having a diverse workforce and how neurodiversity can contribute to the company's success. And I think, I'm just throwing a few extra bits that I know is not part of what we totally were going to go through, but Joel and I discussed this over a year ago. We were shocked that something like 27% of autistic people are in full-time employment. And when you look at the expertise and the knowledge and the skills so many people have that are not being engaged purely because hiring managers are just not confident on how to deal with people that are potentially neurodiverse, this is going to open up a lot of interesting discussions, I think. Plus, we'll discuss ways to create a culture of inclusivity and how to effectively communicate and support neurodivergent employees. Big gap. I don't know if you all agree. If you're listening and you're watching this, please drop some comments in the comments box, because I'm sure this team will be able to answer any one of your questions, and we have a ton of them. Should I go through second, third, fourth, or fifth, or does somebody else want to jump in? I'm happy to continue. It's entirely up to you.
Second, third, fourth, or fifth. What, we've only got 3, haven't we?
We have
the
5 sessions.
The sessions in the description. Marisol, would you like to do the upcoming ones on that list?
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah. Let's see, number 2.
So our second session,
Yeah.
Our second session. Oh, yes. Sorry. My brain just kind of got distracted for a second. See, there we go. My first day, guys. So not bad, right? I'm already out. It's good to see you guys. The second session. Ooh, I'm pretty excited about this. I don't want to sound like I'm reading anything either. I don't know why that was important to say, but it was. But you know what? The beautiful part about this is that I can talk through my process, right? And that's part of being who I am, and that's awesome.
Just read it, because Alvaro, everybody works so hard on putting it together.
That's true. So we'll delve into the common challenges that neurodivergent individuals may face in the workplace. So don't worry, we'll cover strategies for helping neurodivergent employers navigate these challenges and ways for employers to create. I know that you touched base on this, Mac, already, but I'd like to go even deeper. Is also challenging how we're looking at resumes, right? So I'm a recruiter, especially as an ADHD individual. We got to be stimulated all the time, right? So I hyper focus on something for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of people within this community, and even not, can really relate to this. But the whole job hopping thing, right? So I understand that you need to it is an investment to hire somebody, right? So you don't want somebody to leave in like 6 months or anything, right? But I think we should really open up and talk about how maybe we can create opportunities for neurodivergent individuals to grow more within a company and be able to test out different jobs within a company, right? So that's not really heard of. You kind of pick your specialty and you kind of go. But being a neurodivergent individual, like many of us, I hate to toot our own horns, but like we learn something really quickly and we'll hyper focus on it, right? So if you say, hey, Madi, can you be an expert on lotion, or you can be an expert on glitter, I'm like, I will tell you this, that, I'm gonna learn everything about it. So same thing with jobs, right? So it'd be really interesting to see how we can retain, not only hire but retain neurodivergent individuals, and really maximize their hyper focus and their efforts to keep them engaged. So that's super fun, that I'm really excited to talk about. So yeah, if there's anybody in the comments or anything anybody wants to kind of share their stories on why they like looking for different jobs, or they like taking on different opportunities all the time, if that's something that they've found success through, I would love to hear how you've found success through that. And if something that's held you back on getting a job, on I've had too many jobs, then we'd like to hear that too, and we'd like to help. So I just kind of wanted to add to what Max said on that. And then do you guys want me to dive into that third one about so you know what, I'm just gonna do it because I'm having a good time right now.
Yeah, and you also have some really good ideas that it's interesting because I'll share some information. Marisol and I were trying to come up with some ideas on the mini series a little bit, and then this script, I didn't tell anybody. Marisol knows this. I actually input some information in Chat GPT, spit out this script, like intro script. So it's actually artificial intelligence that built the actual wording. I wanted to see how natural it was, but the topics are actually really good. The third session, for example, I think it would be great for Marty, for you to continue because you were talking about this. I mean, you brought this up, I don't know, months ago, possibly. So it's really interesting that the topics that we discussed and the things that we've talked about as a team have been kind of like put together already, like in an automated way. And then obviously we changed some things, but anyway, I'm getting lost in the technology talk, but go ahead.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it was really funny because he sent me this big old paragraph of stuff. I'm like, how did you type that out so fast? And he was like, oh, it's a little secret kind of thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. Something's not right here, Alvaro. Alvarin, what's going on here? But it's really cool to see it. And now, I mean, I like how you were going in that technology piece too, because I feel like that chat, what did you use? The chat box ID?
Yeah, Chat GPT.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I feel like a lot of us have very big ideas. So it's kind of cool to have a system that kind of works as fast as our brains. So that's pretty
artificial
cool.
intelligence is it's pretty amazing what it could do to help you as a tool.
Yeah.
Just to refine the words or anything like that, because when you're thinking of 100 thoughts in your head and they're constantly getting a little wheel, you can't think of the right things to say in the moment. So it's kind of nice to put all your ideas in a spot and just have it go. But yeah, so that's really fun. You guys want to segue into our third focus?
Yes.
Awesome. Anybody want to take the lead, or I don't mind doing it? I don't know. I like hearing myself talk, I guess.
No, you're good. You go ahead and do that third one too.
So the third one is, so we're going to focus on accommodations and support for neurodivergent employees. So we'll discuss different types of accommodations, such as like flexible scheduling, assistive technology, the processes for requesting and implementing accommodations. And then we'll also bust some myths about accommodations and talk about the importance of open and honest communication. So what are some, and that's again with our audience, right? I want to hear your guys' little tips and tricks if you are in a 9-to-5, having to go into the office every day and you don't have all the flexibility. I want to hear any of your successes, any of your struggles, anything that you guys feel like it would help. We were just, I personally, I have really big ideas, and I know these gentlemen do too. I was even shooting out things like, oh, it would be so cool if it was like super inclusive all the time, like even through the onboarding process, right? Like, how can we make a neurodivergent employee feel welcomed but not singled out, right? So we don't want to say, hey, here's a specific onboarding thing for you, right? And it kind of singles them out. So how do we create a universal onboarding process and challenge employers to really think about how not only they're hiring but onboarding, they're creating that base, I guess, experience. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word. That experience, right from the get-go. So it could be something small, like, even giving them things like a fidget spinner or like stimulant things, right? So sometimes, I've done it where I have to bring something that I'm fidgeting with, but then I feel like a little kid, right? Because I'm bringing a toy to a business, and it's like, I promise I'm not bringing this shiny, spinny thing for fun. It's because I need to work, right? So how do we create that inclusivity and that make it a normal thing for everybody across, the workforce? So anybody have anything they want to add to this one?
Let's hear Joseph, because he's just told me he has to go at 2.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that, Joel. And happy 2023. I'm really happy that Joel started RockstarX last year, and totally excited for what's next and what you guys are doing here and what we've all been able to do in a very short amount of time, might add you. So maybe I will take the 4th session there, because those number 2 and number 3 is really like trying to get you in the door, right? They can and get that job, and I think they really overlap there. And once you're there, I think the fourth session is going to cover, once you're in that role, we'll be exploring, roles of allies and creating a more inclusive workplace, discussing the importance of educating oneself and others about neurodiversity and the ways in which allies can support and advocate for neurodivergent individuals in the workplace. So, I liken that to like creating friends, right? And once you're there, and how to use all of your wonderful abilities to create your own team within that organization, right? I look at like I was just thinking about this, like my relationship with Joel. Like he's my guy. Like I do anything. I'll fight for Joel now. Like, like he's on my team. Like we're in this together. And I think that's sort of like when you get into those roles in every organization, you have to find that spot for yourself. And I'm sure everybody here could relate and add some input over that. So it's a really great session that, I'm looking forward to seeing. But thank you, Joel. I appreciate you doing that and slipping me in there because I do have to run. But I appreciate all of you and really looking forward to this year. And Marisol, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I can't wait to work, more together. So I'm sure we'll have some cool discussions.
I'm looking forward to the next team meeting.
Me too.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you,
Hey,
Joseph.
Joseph.
You're welcome.
Cheers, man.
Awesome.
And then there was Paul.
Yeah, let's see here. I'll just finish it up with the fifth one. And there is a little overlap in terms of how they've been described here, obviously, but the whole purpose of this session was to describe the plan, what we're doing, and what you can look forward to. So finally, in our fifth and final session, we'll talk about the importance of ongoing education and self-reflection in creating a truly inclusive workplace. And we're going to discuss the importance of continually learning about and understanding neurodiversity and the ways in which organizations can foster a culture of inclusivity and support of neurodivergent employees. So number 4 was more on the individual level of like what Joseph was saying, creating allies as an individual, making friends, and as an individual, if you're neurotypical or if you're neurodivergent, it doesn't matter, supporting your fellow colleague in the workplace and just creating those one-on-one connections, just checking in with each other. There's so many different things that we can do that for one another. And this fifth one is different because we're talking about the culture. And so as an organization, as a leader, as someone that manages a team or supervises others, or simply as someone who is willing to step into that role of creating change within an organization, what can you do to support others that are on your team and to be inclusive, not just in the neurotypical, neurodivergent structure, but also in just in general? How can you be supportive of other people with different ideas and actually purposely bring in those different sets of ideas? So lots to talk about. Definitely things that we've talked about that in the past, and that Mac and Joel have also talked about in many times in the past. With this time, I think the great thing is that we have Marisol, and so her perspective is, like she mentioned, HR focused, and so we're going to get a very different kind of like a different sort of inside scoop. So now we have Mac's perspective, Joel's perspective, Joseph's perspective, Marisol's perspective, and then we'll be able to compile different perspectives, but just data points too, because we'd love to have these conversations. And like we mentioned, we're going to be doing different things leading up to these sessions. So those are the 5 points. There's going to be a lot going on there for those sessions. And we have one more item, which is the what you can expect from us. Joel, would you like to take that one?
Yes, Alvaro. Now I would have to. I am having to read this off the email. What can you expect from us during each of our live sessions? We are going to be creating a fun and interactive. So we want you guys to pop up on stage, so to speak, with us, and join in this side of the live stream, not just on the viewing side. And
That's
we
right.
want you to we want you to participate in every post possible that you are obviously attend. Obviously, we're all human. We will have lives, so. And importantly, we will be doing polls, which I've started doing on my own LinkedIn, obviously, but I don't know if it's those sorts of polls, Alvaro, you're on about.
Yeah, it would be. And they are exactly what you've been doing. And so the goal would be to continue those and for the polls and surveys to kind of prompt questions for the upcoming ones. And so it's the same format that you've been doing, but I guess the reason that that's there is because I wanted to make that commitment of also reminding myself, oh, like, this needs to happen. So
Yes.
So you're saying it, and you're saying it to me, and so now it's cementing in my brain, like, I have to make this happen. So I am
more curiosity, right? So I'm a curious person. I want to know things. So some of these polls are going to be kind of interesting because I'm a very honest kind of, I don't want to say blunt, but kind of straight to the point kind of person. But I want to hear other people's thoughts and ideas and stuff. So some of these polls, I mean, I don't have them at the top of my head right now. I have them in my little notes, but there's going to be some really cool ones. And we'd really appreciate if people, answered these questions because, like we said, there's so many companies and so many different places that are run by neurotypical people that are for neurodivergent people, but the people that know the experience most are us, right? So the people who are neurodivergent, right? So
sounds so simple though.
Yeah, so or neurodivergent.
It sounds far too logical, Marisol.
Right? Like, So we're doing for neurodivergent by neurodivergent people, right? So we want to hear your guys' pain points and struggles and celebrations. So yeah. Joel, I'll let you finish it off.
I'm just going to pop in right there and just ask a quick question because the polls and surveys, so to make it easy for those watching, because they're seeing 4 of us on the screen, they've just seen Joseph leave. When they're wondering, if it was me, I'd be sitting there going, who's sharing the poll? Where is the poll? Whose post? I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is going to be on the RockstarX page.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right. It's going to be on the RockstarX page, and it'll be the weeks or a couple of weeks leading up to each monthly session. So at the top of the month, you'll see a survey or a poll or a question pop up into your feed from the RockstarX page, and we would love for you to engage with, because that's what matters. That's what matters. The information. There's plenty of statistics. There's plenty of data out there, but there's not data from this audience, from you, our audience, and this community that we've all built together. And that's really what we're trying to figure out here. And specifically on the LinkedIn community is going to be very different than any other statistical data that gets brought up, from national or international studies. So that's
absolutely.
going to be really valuable. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, Mac. Yeah.
Over to you, Joel.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought now.
I guess just the last item on number 3.
The data.
That's right.
The data is going to drive our future content. We haven't yet worked out who's going to be in charge of this data, and I hope that my Mac does not shut down before this live finishes. Otherwise, that'd be an absolute shame. It's on 3%.
Speak.
And all this data which we are collecting through the polls will be compiled by one of us who will have the joys, or in my case, headache of going through them, and giving us the opportunity to create specific programs to help workplaces and individuals, I presume, not just limiting to workplaces here, to be more inclusive so that we may lead by example.
Yeah. Exactly. There's so many things that we're doing as a team that may seem normal as like a common thing, but I think that the reason that we've come together as a team is because we are trying to be different and to treat others as different, not less. And Marisol has helped me understand, and I think the comments that I've seen also help viewers understand that we forget that this mission that we're on, not everyone is on that mission. Some people, it's so far removed from their daily reality that they don't even know. Maybe they're neurodivergent and they're still, like Joel and Mac put it, and Marisol put it last time, wearing the mask. And
I'm going to just
this
drop down 1
conscious.
second and find my charger.
That sounds good. Yeah. It's just so important to talk about these things and to be data driven, and we would love to create programs. We've talked about this, Mac, before, of that will disrupt the industry, and it starts with us.
Absolutely.
But what-
And
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, I'll be quick, Marisol. Well, at least hold your hands up like this if I'm talking too long. So, one of the things that I just wanted to jump in on that comment about the normal side of things, because we were talking about this on, we do a Saturday social chat every Saturday that Joel's one of the co-hosts on, and we were talking about, what does normal mean? And it was quite interesting because, somebody came up who is a neurodivergent, and she went, well, actually, we need to keep this in context because there's such thing as normal, because everybody has a different experience to life and a different makeup of environment and religion and food choices and cultural understanding and all those things. So it's almost impossible to say, globally, there's a normal standard, because it's impossible to get everybody to, be configured that way. The reality is it's, what is your normal? Alvaro's normal, Marisol's normal, my normal. And that's, when you put that into context, makes I think that is what's going to help people re-educate, rewire their minds to realize that, before and the challenge that we're in, we're a lot of these systems we have are post World War II systems, which were basically programmed to create factory workers and industry conveyor belts, so that you needed to fit in. If you didn't fit in, you were out. And the challenge was that is only certain mindsets could cope with that repetitive, basic mindset. And therefore, industry's now changed. It's allowing the creative, the thinkers that are, I guess, the ones who would have been a bit more of a threat in the earlier, post World War II days, because they were like, oh, no, we can't work with those people because they're going to break our little system that's creating our replicas. So it's really getting into that situation now where we can embrace these incredible minds that are, in different spaces, and really start being a bit more patient so that we can learn that people are different and we need to communicate differently. It's literally like a different language. So I think we're on an exciting road and an exciting path. And I know we're going to have a lot of bumps and things in the road, which is exciting because it means we're going to discover new things. Yeah. Anyway, should have put your hands up a long time ago and told me to shut up.
No, that was so eloquent and passionate. We needed to hear. I was really, I was tied in. I wanted to hear the end of that thought. Yeah.
That was
incredible. I mean, I feel very grateful to be on this side of it too, because I think the team has noticed as well that I'm still trying to come up with words for these thoughts and where I fit into it and all of these things, and we all are. And so I think it's great that we're exploring these ideas together and we're trying to make it something tangible where we can help others, have these conversations in their own lives, in their own normal, and create a new normal for people. I love what you said, Mac. That's great.
Too.
That's awesome.
Can we also? Oh, go ahead. Oh, say
no. I was just going to say, Marisol wanted to say something.
Oh no, I forgot my thought. I don't think it'll tie in nicely, but can we just talk about? I know I'm super excited about all of this, but can we just quickly touch base on how scary this is? This is scary. I'm nervous, you guys, but in like the most exciting way. Like we have the opportunity, not just us, but our community, right? And our followers, especially as we grow, to really shape how how neurodivergent people navigate the world, not just the workforce, but the world, and how neurotypical people navigate life with us too, right? So it's scary. Putting ourselves out there is so scary, but I'm super excited, and I just I just wanted to kind of touch base on that because I'm very big on vulnerability, and this is really exciting. So thanks.
Yeah, I love that you said that. I mean, I don't think we've even talked about this like outside of just these team conversations, but something that's been coming up lately is that even we within our own team kind of filter our thoughts, and we're a little bit because we're still getting to know each other too. So it's a really interesting dynamic that this is a record of people working together, getting to know each other, and trying to have these conversations of figuring out like where each other's like boundaries are, what the communication style is, what sometimes, everybody to some extent can be kind of a people pleaser. And so it's interesting to say, sometimes people say, yeah, I could do that. But then in reality, it's just like, oh, they don't really want to, or maybe that's not what they prefer, or maybe their strength is zone of genius is somewhere else. So it's really interesting to we have a record of how we're navigating these conversations, and now we have experience from our own perspective, and that's going to help a lot to help other people kind of navigate those things too. So I'm very curious as what those tools are that we're going to develop and where this data and these experiences lead. But yeah, it can be a little scary. That's for sure. Of just, talking about these things and knowing that we were doing this publicly and wondering what someone might say, that's always like, that's a universally human thing of like, are they
Yeah.
are people disagreeing with us? Are people agreeing with us? Are we gonna get canceled or something? Are we gonna probably not.
Are we gonna upset somebody?
Yeah.
You know
we're gonna
what?
upset
We're
the
not doing
HR
it right
gods.
if we don't upset at least a few people, right? Because change
Yeah,
is scary.
yeah.
Change is hard, and not everybody's going to be on board with us
You're
right
not
away.
upsetting somebody, you're not doing enough.
But
Yeah.
I'm ready to rustle some feathers. Are you guys?
Yeah, that's right.
Hell yeah.
I've already done that.
Just a few.
Yeah. Well, great.
Awesome stuff.
I've already,
Richard, we've got a lot
already
of stuff to
ruffled
be
a few
excited to.
feathers. Yeah,
Was that you
including
ruffled a few
April.
feathers today, or just
No, this year
Not
I
today.
think, and last year Mac would say I haven't got a filter.
But it's
Yeah.
it's one of those things that are quite refreshing, because one of the things that I enjoy, like when I speak to Joel, and I'm glad a lot of the time we speak one-on-one, because some of those conversations need to be censored because there is no filter whatsoever sometimes. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh, the pure honesty is actually quite raw. And that's one of the things that, as you were saying now, Alvaro, doing a lot of this stuff publicly, we navigating, not trying to be too much of a yes man, or because ultimately, like Joel said earlier, when he was talking about data, and he was like, or if it landed on me, give me a headache. Clearly, he's like, guys, this is not me. Don't drop it in my lap.
Yeah.
So it's just being sensitive to that kind of communication, so that, and this is where it's an interesting thing, because a lot of my friends that are on the spectrum, as it were, one of the things that they get really frustrated with is the fact that when somebody says something to them, they take that quite directly. They're like, okay, yeah, I'll go and do that. But it may come across as a joke. I didn't really mean that. And they, being able to kind of like, well, are you being serious, or aren't you? Like what's your story? And it's learning how to communicate just with different people, and understanding that that directness is sometimes really helpful. And certain people, it's like personality traits and various other things that they've put into all these books, where they're, I'm shocked and surprised that there's so many books out about, the 4 personality types and all these things, but they don't go into that additional level of actually, well, there's the 4 personality types for neurotypicals, and then there's 4, so there's a lot of education and a lot of disruption that needs to be done. And it's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, because most people are impatient. They just want to move on and do things. The reality is, a lot of the time when you're just staying in that rut, things don't change.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting journey we're on.
This is an interesting journey. Have we got any comments, Mac? You the only one with multiple screens?
I haven't seen any, I must be honest. Everybody's been very quiet, or I'm not sure why comments. Let me just have a look on the LinkedIn screen again, because StreamYard still doesn't allow you to have those comments come through on
Also,
here.
it doesn't allow you to post as on LinkedIn for some unknown reason. From StreamYard.
When you say post from, correct. So currently, I'm just having a
That's
look.
a mistake.
Yeah, there's only one comment so far. So I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be watching this post the event, or seeing this come up in their feed. So if you are watching that, do make sure that you drop some comments below, so that we can come back to those, because we'll get notified every time somebody comments, so that we can obviously get back to you and continue watching this journey and learn about the next 5 episodes that are coming up.
Yes, that's more work for you to do, Mac, on top of everything else.
Hey, it's all part of the fun. It's all good. Did we have any final comments as we wrap up?
Do we have any final comments? For once, I actually don't.
No. I'm just, I guess, just like, I'm excited to share with people what I'm learning along the way too.
Yep.
What I've noticed is that when we have structure, having these conversations about these topics, it's great. It gives us a starting point.
Yeah.
But keeping it flexible, keeping the format flexible to have these conversations around it has been really awesome. And it just it opens the floodgates to so many other things. In terms of like pulling examples from other parts of life and other industries and information, like this is something I recently learned, that yes, these personality tests, they're very skewed. Even within the world of neurotypicals, if you just apply it to that, those people, if you can just, draw that hard line, which you can't. But there's a lot of problems with these tests, these things that were created in a different time. It needs to be updated, and maybe there's people working on that, but I'm sure that we'll have something to do with the advancement of those types of priorities, and I'm happy to be that.
Absolutely. It'll be quite interesting. And remind me at some stage to introduce you to some people that do this kind of testing for something called mental toughness that's tested throughout the world in various universities and colleges, and which, I guess for people that have done it on such a big scale, it would be interesting to find out where they are when it comes to, the neurotypical or neurodiverse perspective within those tests.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting.
So
it's going to be an interesting year.
Oh yeah, I already have all these thoughts in my head right now. That's why I got quiet, because I wouldn't know how to even say it right now. So
well, if it's okay, Joel, I'd like to invite the whole team along to our Saturday social chat on Saturday, because of the fact that our topic is we started the year talking about neurodiversity, and what it meant, and it was quite eye-opening that a lot of people didn't even know what the term meant. And
wow.
One of the, and a lot of our some of our co-hosts basically said, hey, you know what, this has been an eye-opening chat. Why don't we have another one? And we postponed the other topics. Let's do this again next week. Talk about that again. It's going to be 6:30 p.m. London time. But effectively, it's people from all around the world, different walks of life, people that are in HR and legal and all different industries, just coming to share their ideas and thoughts about, and the experiences about working with people that are neurodiverse, people that are neurodivergent, coming on and experiencing expressing their thoughts and ideas. And it's I think it will give us a lot of food for thought with regards to these 5 sessions that are coming up as well.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome.
So
excellent stuff.
That's wrapping up for the first session of 2023.
Ooh, so exciting.
Now the question is, Alvaro, will there be a session in April? Because we all know where we want it to be. Will it be on here, or will it be not on here?
Hey, that's a really great question. That's a really cool idea. I hadn't even thought about it, honestly, but I have live streaming equipment, so I know exactly what you're saying.
Let's put a pin on it.
Live on site. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I'll put something together. We'll talk about that for sure.
Anyone who wants to comment, feel free to. Unlike Facebook, LinkedIn and YouTube, the live stays there forever. So if you want to comment and share with us, then feel free to do it on the platforms which don't delete the video.
Absolutely.
And we will see you next month.
Awesome. Thanks,
See
guys.
ya.
Thanks, everybody.
Look at that. We finished on time, guys. That's incredible. For me, that's a miracle. Because I never finish on time. At least I try,
Yeah.
but hey,
Yeah.
awesome stuff. Listen, guys, absolutely amazing working as part of this team. And for those of you who are watching, you'll watch this space. There's going to be a lot to watch this year.
Yes, there will be a lot to watch this year. And if you've been Happy New Year, and see you all again in the next month.
Awesome.
All right,
See
guys.
ya.
Talk to you
Bye.
Bye.
soon.